Yeah!
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to The Fringe. I often have to question the intelligence level when it comes to our current Canadian government, given that we have multiple MPs who are compromised from China, which have been named. I'll have a video coming out about that shortly. We also have to question how multiple scandals can happen with our Prime Minister while he continues to skate free without any kind of charges. We haven't seen anybody lose their jobs. The list goes on and on. But today, ladies and gentlemen, new shocking news comes out that the Canada Revenue Agency has been hacked, that millions have gone out unaccounted for. Our country, if you ever thought it was in trouble financially, boy, is it in trouble today. I'm going to get into the article right away, folks, but I just want to remind everybody that we're trying to get our subscribers up to 50,000 as soon as possible. So if you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a thumbs up and a comment down below. Helps push us out as well as joining our team here at Unacceptable Fringe. We have one of the best communities on the platform, and I'm looking forward to bringing you guys more news like this as we continue on. Michael Barrett, Conservative MP, tweeting out this morning, shocking CRA cover-up exposed. Trudeau's revenue minister is informed that thousands of taxpayer accounts were hacked. Millions were also paid to scammers, and Trudeau's government covered it up. There must be a full investigation to get accountability for Canadians. So again, we're already talking about a Arrive scam. We're talking about the Green Slush Fund. Now we're talking about millions that have gone out. And again, we know that Canada Revenue Agency was guilty during the pandemic for taking CERB with their employees. Number of people fired over that. Now it makes me question what is going on at Canada Revenue Agency. And I do have an article from the Clown Broadcasting Corporation that I want to highlight, where it says here that tens of thousands of taxpayer accounts are hacked as CRA repeatedly paid out millions in bogus refunds. Who is putting out the refunds at Canada Revenue Agency? Who's legitimizing anything? Because I can tell you right now, I file my business taxes on time. Anytime I've done it because of the business that I do for a living, because I talk about good old Captain Tampon for a living, well, I get audited every single time I file my taxes, yet scammers can just weasel their way into Canada Revenue Agency and take hundreds of thousands of fake accounts. Let's get into this. Let's see what's going on here. At the height of this year's tax season, the Canada Revenue Agency discovered that hackers had obtained confidential data used by one of the country's largest tax preparation firms, H&R Blockhead Canada. Imposters used the company's confidential credentials to get unauthorized access into hundreds of Canadians' personal CRA accounts, change direct deposit information, submit false returns, and pocket more than $6 million in bogus refunds from the public purse. An investigation by CBC's Fifth Estate and Radio Canada has found. Isn't it interesting that Justin Trudeau has propped up his bank account to the tune of over $100 million, yet $6 million in bogus refunds goes out? Maybe Trudeau should pay back that $6 million because the taxpayer shouldn't. I'll tell you that. In one case, the hackers filed a return with a legitimate postal code, but a fake address and a non-existent Tomato Street. Obviously, the door is open on some people for infiltrating the system. Andre Leroux, an associate tax professor at Laval University in Quebec City, said in an interview, but the CRA does not seem to have found the key to lock the door. Again, if you use services like H&R Block, they often offer instant refunds. They allow you to obtain instant refunds. With the digital age, things are much simpler to scam the system than by simply mailing in your tax return as they used to do in the old days and wait for a check to arrive in the mail. It's not to say that I don't understand the convenience of direct deposit or instant refunds, but maybe something needs to be done here. According to sources, the crisis prompted the CRA to contact the Office of Revenue Minister Marie-Claude Bibeau. The agency prepared media lines to respond to inquiries should there be questions about the breach of H&R Block data and why the agency paid out millions to scammers. In the end, the public was never alerted to the scheme. Bibeau declined the Fifth Estate and Radio Canada's request for an interview. Of course not. She's not going to sit down and talk about this. In a statement, H&R Blockhead said that there's no evidence the breach came from it. Well, it came from somewhere. Now, knowing this Liberal government, I don't mean to jump to conclusions, but my guess is that there's something fishy going on in Justin Trudeau's caucus. The tax firm said a comprehensive internal investigation concluded none of its data systems, software, and security had been compromised. H&R Blockhead said that it's not aware that the Canadian taxpayer is impacted by the breach or were any of its own clients. So again, it's going to be interesting as this unfolds. As Michael Barrett says, we need an investigation. According to the sources, the CRA failed to identify the hackers, but ruled out the possibility of a breach in its own systems or insider involvement. Ultimately, who hacked the data and where from remains unknown. Again, when we look back to the pandemic, this is why I brought it up earlier, multiple CRA employees claiming CERB, while thousands of Canadians were told to pay it back. They were ineligible. Just what is going on at the Canada Revenue Agency? Both the Revenue Minister and CRA's Media Relations Office did not respond about the H&R data breach. Fifth Estate Radio Canada are not identifying the sources because they are not authorized to speak publicly. Now apparently there's a massive rise in breaches in Parliament. The investigation has found that H&R Block data breach is just one example of many that are overwhelming the Canada Revenue Agency as auditors and investigators worry the public might lose trust in the agency tasked with safeguarding its taxpayer dollars and personal information. Again, I know I'm circling around the same thing, but Canadians have already lost trust in the government. Canadians have lost trust in the revenue agency because this is a revenue agency that essentially told people you can have a benefit during the pandemic if you've lost your job, if you've made the minimum amount of money, and then they were all of a sudden told, give it all back. It really wasn't there. We shouldn't have given it to you, or we gave it to prisoners in jail, but we shouldn't have given it to the hardworking person who contributes their tax dollars. The list goes on with all the flaws, but then they stole money from within. Of course, our trust is weathered. It's gone. There is no trust. Trust and government are two different columns. Leroux said a parliamentary inquiry should be struck to determine the magnitude of the problem. So they don't even know how bad it is yet. And to compel answers from the Canada Revenue Agency and the minister. Again, the big problem here is that, and I'm sorry, I keep cutting in. I'm just absolutely taken back at what's happened here. These inquiries, as we've seen throughout Arrive Scam, throughout everything else, it yields nothing. I want a full investigation. I want arrests. I want those who are responsible held accountable. That's what most Canadians want. I believe. If that's what you want, let me know down below in the comments. They all should tell exactly what happened and how much money is involved, he says. The CRA also has a duty to report material breaches of taxpayer accounts to the Privacy Commissioner, who reports directly to Parliament. In a report to Parliament in June, the Privacy Commissioner reported 71 breaches at the CRA in the fiscal year ending of March 31st of this year. In a previous 3 years, 42 privacy breaches have been reported. Those numbers have since exploded. In answers to questions from the Fifth Estate, CRA admitted it had been hit with more than 31,468 material privacy breaches from March of 2020 to December of 2023, affecting 62,000 individual Canadian taxpayers. To what extent has it affected them? No idea. Here's the biggest issue. Parliament was not informed. Privacy Commissioner Philip Dufresne also declined an interview, or Dufresne, however you want to pronounce that. In an email, his office defended the decision to leave the massive increase in privacy breaches out of his June 2024 report to MPs. That's a breach, isn't it? The Commissioner's office justified the decision by saying the CRA sent the information after the March 2024 reporting period and that he will include the new numbers in next year's annual report. Oh, good. Well, he made a mistake, everybody. He's going to put it in later, now that it's out there, now that we know about it. Oh, I'll put it in next time, guys. For this part, the CRA said it only reported 31,468 privacy breaches retroactively. In response to questions, the agency said it noticed a marked increase in external data breaches and cyber threats where unauthorized third parties accessed Canadians' tax accounts, changed direct deposit information, produced fraudulent tax information slips, and filed fraudulent returns. CRA said individual taxpayers are informed when a breach occurs, and they are offered credit protection as required, and it takes protection of Canadians' tax information very seriously. I don't believe that. This says it all. The CRA would not answer how and when it first learned the number of privacy breaches. Of course not, because they don't want to look stupid. It was being underreported to Parliament, nor did it break down the total numbers reported by year. In 2020, the Treasury Board reported that CRA cyber attacks that year had been brought under control. Obviously not. But in 2022, a judge in a class action lawsuit over federal government privacy breaches concluded that the direct deposit information had been changed by scammers in 12,700 CRA accounts. In a second statement sent Friday evening, the CRA said it mistakenly authorized more than $190 million in bogus payments connected to confirmed cases of privacy breaches between 2020 and early October of this year. $190 million. I don't know about you guys. I could use $190 million. Why does this affect us? Here's my question. When it comes to the government, why is it that everything they do affects us, yet they never pay the piper? They never pay the price. We never see somebody in handcuffs. We never see an internal audit done. We don't see those who are held accountable face the justice system. How many more millions and millions need to be flushed out of our pockets before this government starts taking all of these scandals seriously? And furthermore, why is it that our government is so elitist right now that it feels like it does not have to inform us tax-paying citizens where our money is going, especially when it's our accounts that are being breached, our direct deposit that is being affected, essentially our tax dollars, our refunds, our personal information that's floating around out there? This is a huge mess. I demand an answer. I don't know about you guys. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. Are you shocked that we have yet another scandal through the Liberals that they failed to manage Canada Revenue Agency? Let me know your thoughts down below. Again, if it's your first time here, I hope this video has earned your subscription. Make sure if you're hitting that button, you also click your bell for notifications. Join me live here on the channel each and every Friday night for Friday Night Fringe. And also join me tonight for a very special stream starting at 6:30 p.m. Pacific, where I'm going to be sitting down with a good friend of mine, The Rexer Show, to talk about the American side of politics, going into Canadian politics, and how each upcoming election is going to affect every country and what it is that each country needs right now. It's going to be a fantastic show, especially given that Rexer is more left-leaning than I am, but it's going to be a good conversation to agree to disagree. We're going to get some education out there for everybody. It's going to be a great show. Again, join us tonight at 6:30 p.m. Pacific here on the channel for that live stream. I'm looking forward to seeing you all there. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this video and have a great rest of your day. I'll catch you on the next one.